Okay, this is a signpost that I used in early game to understand psychological types a little bit better. 1. Formal definitions. 2. Disagree slash identify with. 2A. Why? Lowest gradient. Reasonable slash least best fit. Inverse orientation, etc. Why? Lowest gradient, reasonable least best fit, inverse orientation, etc. 3. Preferred outcome. 4. Reflection slash iteration. What do you think that we think? What do you think that we think? What do you think that we think? Next, we're dealing with on common notation. Ground the internal signifiers in terms of conscious competence. Prerequisites: circling the square and the circle, circling the square and squaring the circle as an archetype of the self. The Punnett square as a blank in the context of the gap slash space between the two as a placeholder for the unknown and slash or the unconscious. Modifier: inverse perpetual swap. Squaring the circle, circling the square, squaring the circle, circling the square as the forward-facing half of the ego. Transitive, intransitive, active, and passive. We're talking about verbs, we're talking about clauses, we're talking about psychological types. Why start with the attitude function or function modality? What are the attributes that make someone a type? How do you determine the structural validity of a core type? What are the signifiers that instantiate a single psychological type? What is the Wade heuristic for category instantiation? Property, class, instance. Okay, so for this, we start with our prototypical forms. 4 quadrants in common notation in psychological types. Where do you start with the Punnett square? Where do you start with the Cartesian plane? Which box has which psychological function? In this context, we wrote it out specifically like this. And we even included a back catalog, and we continued the prototypical form over until we found a lock-in to use as a metastable heuristic. What does that mean? Well, stay tuned for our next entry, and we'll go over the prototypical form. On common notation in psychological types.